Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and today I want to talk about a concept which is a part of my mentality, and yeah, I think it's relevant to a lot of people, and it's called choosing life over death. So I'll start with a story about myself and I will explain it shortly. So basically what choosing life means is making decisions that will make your life longer and not shorten your life. This is basically what it means. And I'm talking about the health aspect of it, specifically on the health aspect of it. Because you can also argue that there are other stuff besides like health stuff like that can make you happy, make you feel good, and this can also make your life longer. But I'm talking for a second only about the health part of it. So I'll start with a short story about myself. So as a kid, I was really overweight. I was always overweight. I think from age 6 on, now I'm 28, but from age 6 on, I was really overweight. And I remember going to the doctor with my mom. And the doctor, he did like checks on me and my weight and whatever. And I remember on the report, he wrote really overweight or something like that, for my age. And I remember I was bullied for it for a long time in school and then in high school also, maybe a little less in high school maybe. And then by age 21 I was weighing 104 kilos. I remember that, 104 kilos, and I remember looking in the mirror and just accepting that this is gonna be my life. I remember I was looking at myself and I told myself out loud, I said, you're gonna have a life of a fat person. And you're gonna have to carry this extra weight with you your whole life, and you accepted it. This is what I told myself in the mirror. And that made me think, what will happen if I continue down that path? Where will I be when I'm 50? And then also at that time I started smoking. At 21 I started smoking, so I was also overweight and I started smoking. I started smoking weed, I started smoking cigarettes. And then also after a few years I saw I'm overweight. It's hard for me to walk, it's hard for me to breathe, it's hard for me to, also because of the cigarettes, to breathe because of the cigarettes. My lung hurts, I don't sleep well. And I asked this question again: if I continue down that path, what awaits for me? What awaits for me down that path? And then at one point I realized that something needs to change. I need to choose to do things that make my life longer. So I'll give you an example. Smoking shortens your life. Besides the fact that it makes your life harder to breathe. Being overweight is also shorten your life. And I'm not talking about maybe a little bit overweight, but I was really overweight, I was really overweight. And then I remember one day I was talking with a friend of mine who was into sports and that kind of stuff, and he told me, bro, let me help you, we're gonna give me a few months, I'll write you a plan, and you're gonna lose this weight. And that's what happened. That was the first time in my life that I actually lost weight. I think I reached to 77 kilos from 104 kilos. 77 kilos in maybe 6 months, something like that. And my life changed. My life changed. At this point, my life changed. I'm not saying I didn't gain any weight since, but something about the way I was thinking about the things I was doing changed. Because suddenly I felt good, I felt good about myself, I felt good about the way I look, I felt good about the way people look at me. Back then I couldn't even lift my shirt off in public places, let's say the pool or whatever, the beach. I would avoid those kind of activities because I didn't feel like going, I didn't feel like going. Like, people see me without a shirt, it was like the most embarrassing thing for me. And suddenly it wasn't. Suddenly I felt so good about myself, I felt good. And I was still smoking back then, but suddenly my sleep was better. You know, if I compare it to when I was weighing a lot, my sleep was better, my mornings were better, my days were better. I was breathing better, you know, I was breathing better. And then I realized what changed. I chose to do things that makes my life longer. And therefore I feel better. Whether it's, in this case, it was eating good and training. And about a few years ago, like a while after this, the story that I told you, I stopped smoking as well. I was a smoker for a very short amount of time, a few years, from 21 till 25 or so, 24. And then again, and that decision came from that place as well. I was asking myself, what do I see down the road for me if I keep smoking? You know, when you get older, problems are starting to come up. And you know, I see people that are 50 or 60 that go every day to the doctor, every other day to the doctor. The doctor gives them pills, and they, you know, you see them decay slowly. And I'm talking about people that I know. You know, it can be maybe someone you know, your parents, your aunt, your grandma, whatever. You know, it can be. And I'm not talking about like the things that are not under our control, like what life's throw at us. You know, sometimes, you know, I'm not wishing it to anyone, but sometimes things happen in life and they're not in your control, you know. But I'm talking about the things that are in my control. Where do I see myself? So you have those people that are at the doctor every other day, and you have people that are 50, 60 that are running marathons, you know, full marathons, going ham like they are 20, you know, more than 20-year-old people. And then I ask myself, what 50-year-old do I want to be? Do I want to be the one who runs marathons and feels good about himself, or do I want to be a 50-year-old that at the doctor every other day because I have problems? And also another thing I want to talk about, and I will also make a video about it, but your body forgive you less about those kind of stuff as you get older. You know, you could get away with like a burger at 2 a.m. with friends, like a huge meal when you were 16, 18, 20. At least for me, I'm talking about myself, maybe you can relate, but you could get away with a pack of cigarettes when you're 20. You could get away with a crazy hangover, you know. When you're 20, your body forgives you. But as you grow older, now I'm almost 28, I'm 30 in 2 years, you know, and I cannot do that anymore. It's like your body forgives you less, and you pay a bigger price on those things that make your life shorter, whether it's eating shit or whether it's smoking, etc. On the other hand, and also to add on that, everything in life is compound interest. And I'm going to talk about it in another video, but everything in life is a compound interest. So if we talk about eating shit, you know, if you're going to eat shit from your 20s until you're 50 and smoke from your 20s until you're 50, you know, you pretty much know what awaits for you when you're 50, 60, you know. I can tell you, you're not going to be running marathons and feel as good about yourself if you would start training now, start treating yourself good, stop smoking, and choose life. This is what I mean. Choose things that will longer your life. This is exactly what I mean. And by the time you put another brick and another brick and another brick, and by the time you get to 50, this compound interest that I was talking about will be so big that you might be running marathons, you know, when you're 50, you know, you never know. But you need to choose which compound interest do you want. You want the one that benefits your life and longer your life, or you want the one that shorten your life. And yeah, so this is what I chose to myself, and this is the mentality that I'm applying on almost everything in life, health-wise, you know. I want to choose the thing that makes my life longer, and also should you. And this is what choosing life means, you know. So maybe try to think with yourself about your habits, your daily habits. One tip from me to you: think about your daily habits and try to think like, if I continue now down that path, what awaits for me there? Do I even care? Maybe you don't care, you know. Maybe you don't care, and you prioritize the enjoyment of a cigarette over the person you see yourself in when you're 50, you know, which is okay, you know. I'm not judging anyone. I'm just telling you what's good for me. Maybe it's good for you. But ask yourself, what awaits for me? And if you do care, maybe you should change your ways and start choosing life over death, as I just explained. And I talked about only two things. I talked about eating bad things and I talked about smoking. But it can be, again, whatever, you know. It can be doing drugs, it can be drinking, of course. It can be whatever that relates to the health part that I just talked about, because this is where I apply this mentality. So yeah, choose life over death. I guess this is what I wanted to talk about today. Short video, and now I see that the angle was also not the best, but anyway. I hope you're gonna have a good day. I'm gonna go start my day, and yeah, I hope I could maybe made you think about that, you know, because the sooner the better. The sooner you choose life, the better for you later. So yeah, have a good day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.